Welcome, sentients and synths, to the world of tomorrow!
Why do you always have to say it that way?
Haven't you ever heard of a little thing called showmanship?
I'm here to talk about my favorite retro game.
It's the plastic bogger! Ponies in space!
Yes!
It's the Pico-8! Look at him shooting lasers at his face! Space lasers! Oh my god!
Yeah!
Giant water fish!
Yeah!
Yes!
Pony!
This is what
no!
I'm
Buddy,
waiting
calm
for!
down. You can
Thousand
buy
life!
PONY9000. Jesus Christ. I know. This update on Pony9000 is long overdue. I have a lot to cover, so let's just get right into it. Since last time, I decided that the enemies would almost all be poggers, and added Hanafuda, yeah, the earrings from Demon Slayer, and the eyes of Griffith. I figured that the facial hair Pac-Mans and legally distinct Enterprise and the aluminum Falcon didn't fit the vibe anymore. Like I said last time, the more I worked on it, the more serious it became, and the less of a joke this project started to feel. Don't worry, facial hair Pac-Mans are returning in a game I'll eventually make called Egg. Where you're an egg. You do egg things. Egg. So after changing up the enemies, I started studying wave patterns of Galaga and Galaxian and constructed 9 different waves. After wave 9, they repeat, but the attacks are more frequent. And the 19th wave is another eye-bar of Pog Slammers. These are all designed to beat your upgrades off of you before you get to the boss. After that, I made a sick boss, Brando EX. He's a space rainbow trout. At first he had a dorsal fin, but the way I made collisions, it's a rectangle starting at the top left of everything. It would make his hitbox too large and full of empty pixels. So I made him more of a chromed out fish.
That looks pretty good. Landing strip coming out of the back of his neck there.
I was having problems with the gravity walls, which in the code are called polyminos. Originally I'd wanted to make them like modular Tetris pieces that show up randomly in different configurations, block shots, push you off the screen, and damage you. This was proving too difficult with my limited knowledge, and the collisions were so weird once I made them start pushing you. You could fly up and down through them, but not forward through them. Solution? I made them thin. That solved one problem, but now they start dragging you by the tail. Solution? I called them gravity walls and put a sort of gravity well on the back side of them. Happy accidents. Then based on feedback, I reduced the gravity wall number to 2, increased the size to 3 tiles tall. The sheer number and frequency of them was getting in the way of levels and turning them into a slog instead of providing an interesting mechanic that increased the difficulty. Then I made upgrade options called the Upgay 6 to help you shred through enemies. They block incoming shots and effectively give you extra chances to get hit before it takes away your health. But that wasn't enough for you, was it? No, you wanted bombs. So I went back to the drawing board and started making some particle physics. At first they were going to be rainbow, like the laser, but the more I thought about it and looked at that wild picture I'd originally generated with an AI Laura that I'd trained on 70s fantasy art. Yes, I use AI to generate things. Have you seen my second channel? Belly Corporate Advertising? It's cursed. So I'm looking at this picture where he's got this green thing in his chest, and I thought, why not have rage that builds up the more you get hurt? I'd already written that Pony was filled with an undying rage, so why not have this green rage emit from his chest? At the same time, the hitbox for Pony was bothering me. It was really hard to avoid shots sometimes, even with the upgaze. I can make it smaller, but that would only take the legs and chest out and leave some of the upper left corner, which is empty. So with some feedback from frequent schmuppers, I added the Rager, the point about which the rage gathers, gave that a hitbox, and problem solved. In the meantime, Vigo in the Lazy Devs Discord went through my code and saved me about 1,000 tokens. For those of you who don't know, the Pico-8 is limited to 8192 tokens, and that can be anything from a string of text to if to a period. My code was really messy, and I learned a lot on how to optimize my code. Thanks! Speaking of optimization, I also learned how to make a more optimized title screen with only 2 colors for every 8 pixels, which compresses to 85% smaller than the original picture and has a cool Commodore 64 kind of vibe to it. Everything was great! Time for release! But then, there was this pesky bug with our final boss, Brando EX, who just wouldn't stop exploding, and you couldn't actually get to the win screen. So I fixed that. Also, I managed to wrap the game visuals with a CRT effect and made a whole NES-style instruction manual for the full immersive feel. I want this to really seem like a game that was made in 1985. So let's talk about the big stuff coming up. Pony9000 is kicking off. People love it. 2 YouTubers have made videos of it, links in the basement, and it's going to be an arcade legend, which is an arcade that you go to in the metaverse. It's a game in an arcade cabinet in virtual reality with posters on the wall and that weird 90s carpet, you know, with the triangles and the circles, the navy blue carpet with the rainbow colors. But since I love you and you love the game so much, I'm making Pony9000 Special Edition. I'm super excited to implement Pico-8 voice synthesis throughout the game.
In a galaxy torn by conflict, the one peacefully dweller, fell under the shadow of the tyrannical overlord Brando EX.
I've wanted to add this since probably my last devlog, but wasn't able to get it to fit due to compression and token constraints. Hopefully I'll be able to cram it into the cartridge without it having to go over. Then there's Bastard Mode. You're welcome. We're talking more bullets, more flybys, indestructible gravity walls, and the upgate may or may not block enemy shots. It's going to take a lot of editing though. I'll have to put a lot of if statements into various parts of the code to get it to work without accidentally breaking it. Then to top it all off, a 32 color game label, because it turns out that the label space doesn't count towards the cartridge restrictions. But you aren't going to be getting those for a while. I'm taking a break first to make Cyberlike, a roguelike game in cyberspace where you have to slice into the Onion Billy mainframe. As always, I crave the sweet sauce of your juicy likes and subscribes, and the algorithm guzzles your comments like wine. Let me know what you're most excited to see moving forward. Is it Pony9000 Special Edition? Cyberlike? Egg? Or do you want me to make a secret 4th? Let me know. Special thanks to my data leaks and my onion runner, Mrs. Arby's. If you want to join the rebellion and get your name here, subscribe to me on Twitch or Ko-fi, and I'll see you next time, babe. Catch you on the data stream. So, fun fact, I'm going off on a tangent, but I was telling my boss about the game, and he joked that I should put Brandon, my coworker, in the game. And I'm like, done. That's literally what happened. That's why Brando EX is there. Brando EX is my coworker, who is not a trout. Just, anyway, I don't know, Olive, cut this. All right, so hopefully my cats don't go crazy this time. That would be really cool, right? It would be the best. It would be the best thing ever. Since last time, I decided that the enemies would almost all be poggers. And oh my fucking god. It's a rectangle started at the top left of everything. Top left. Okay, let me do that again. It's a rectangle starting at the top left of everything. And I was having problems with the gravity walls, which in the code are called ponies. Originally, I'd wanted to make them like modular Tetris pieces that... What I need is a recording studio that is free of cats. And the collisions were so weird that once I started pushing you, you could fly up and down through them, but not forward through them. Let's do another take. The collisions were so weird that once I started to make them start pushing you off the edge of the screen, you would fly up and down through them. Oh, God. And the collisions were so weird once I wrote a tongue twister. I reduced the gravity wall number to 2. That is 2. So with some suggestions from frequent smut play. What is my hand doing? Why did I say it like that? There was this Pexkey. So since I love you and I love the game,